By the end of this video, you will have one productized service written out as a clear offer and a simple delivery plan that protects your time while still feeling personal for your clients. Most service providers aren't selling hours, they're selling availability, the kind that leaks into the cracks of your day. A question that doesn't need a meeting but somehow steals one, or the revision that arrives as a casual afterthought but drags the whole project back onto your desk. With custom work, Project Scope has a way of quietly growing teeth between proposal and delivery. And yes, you are charging for some of it, but your calendar suggests the rest is being chewed up in fragments. By the end of the week, you are not tired from the work itself. It's the constant renegotiation around the work. Your mind feeling like endless browser tabs it can't close. If your business relies on you constantly repeating boundaries, you don't need better discipline or time management, you need a container for client delivery. Productizing your services can offer that container. Often when people hear the phrase productizing your services, they think of generic, cookie cutter, copy and paste systems. This is not that. Other times they might picture pricing tiers and shiny package names. But productizing isn't about adding a marketing costume to your work. A productized service is a fixed scope of work delivered through a fixed process for a fixed price. It clearly defines the parameter around the work itself, your deliverables, the people it serves, the process behind it, and the outcome it creates. Think of it as operational clarity packaged into a promise, or that space in your calendar you've been searching for. Productizing gives you back your mental bandwidth. It allows delivery to feel smoother. Revenue becomes more predictable and sustainable. Sales get easier because you're not reinventing your offer on every call. And delegation or bringing in additional support now becomes a viable option. And the client experience improves too. They get to step into clarity, direction, and trust that you are going to deliver their desired outcome without any guesswork. Now we understand why productizing is a great next move for any service provider. Let's talk about how we can build and implement your offer. To do this, we're going to keep things easy and memorable by using my scope framework. Each letter is one decision that you're going to make up front so that you can stop making them under pressure later. Now, I try to switch up the different examples that we use on this channel. So today we're going to be implementing this for a social media marketer, but this really applies to any service-based business. Starting with S, service transformation. Decision 1 is deciding on your client's transformation. Before we talk deliverables, we need to know exactly what we're selling. Who is this for? What are they struggling with? What changes after you are done working together? That's your transformational promise written as a single sentence. And I want you to name this in 2 layers. What changes in their business and what changes in them. Because the practical outcome is what gets someone's attention, but it's the emotional shift that makes them commit. So let's take a look at our social media marketer example. Here we have, I help service businesses move from inconsistent posting and blank page panic to a steady content rhythm by planning, writing, and scheduling 12 posts a month. Now that's a very specific number. You can have different tiers based on varying outputs, but notice the difference. The promise isn't I post content for you. The promise is you get to show up consistently without the mental load of figuring it all out. That's what they're buying. Consistency, direction, one less task pulling at them. So now it's your turn. I want you to write your transformational promise. Here is a prompt to help. I help target audience move from current state to desired outcome through method. Now, once you fill this in, I want you to keep this sentence visible because it now becomes your boundary. If something sits outside of this work, it doesn't automatically get included in the offer. Instead, it becomes a productized add-on. Moving on to C, clarify deliverables. Our second decision here is to decide the deliverables included in your offer. Now we're getting into the specifics about what the client actually receives. When thinking about what to include here, ask yourself, what line items would I add onto an invoice? It's important to be clear here. Vague deliverables create vague expectations, and vague expectations create scope creep. Include exactly what the client is going to receive, communication touchpoints and support, revisions included, and how the delivery process works. We are going to look at delivery more later in this video because it is a key component. But for now, let's take a look at our social media marketer example. Here we have a monthly retainer, and our monthly deliverables include 12 Instagram posts, captions written, hashtag research, and content scheduled. Our customer touchpoints include one 30-minute strategy call each month. For revisions, we include one full round of revisions. We're offering chat support through their client portal, and the delivery method is that client portal. Now it's your turn. I want you to take a moment and think about what this would realistically look like for you. O is our operational roadmap. Decision 3 is all about building out your roadmap so that the client can clearly follow the process without you having to continuously narrate it. Here you can ask yourself, what does this delivery process look like? What are the steps that you're going to go through each time from closing the client to completing the project? And it's worth noting here that your Productized service can be a one-off project or it can be an ongoing retainer. If it's a project, your roadmap will have stages that the client moves through once. If it's a retainer, your roadmap is going to be a cycle that repeats. Either way, the goal is the same. The client has a clear path to follow that is visible at all times, and you get to stop rebriefing yourself throughout the project. So now let's take a look at our example. We know our social media marketer offers retainers, and we're breaking it down into stage, what happens at each stage, the deliverable at each stage, and the delivery method. So the start of the month is all about planning the content. We're going to have our 30-minute strategy call to discuss the last month, plan the next month based on previous results. And the deliverable is going to be approved themes and directions for the month ahead. Now that delivery method, the first time we run it, the first time we onboard a client, they will have an intake form to fill in to make sure that we're aligned. But after that, it's just going to be a call booked through their portal. As we get into the middle of the month, it's all about creation and reviewing the content ready for scheduling. Now our end deliverable at this stage is to have an approved content calendar with posts ready to schedule. And this does include one revision round. If we're looking at the delivery method here, we're going to have one Canva design file with all of our images and captions attached. We can then share that file directly with the client through their portal. We can then assign them a task to review it. Within that task, we can have the discussion, go back and forth, they can make any changes. And then once it's approved, they can go ahead and mark it as done. And then our last stage is publication. So we will assign ourselves a task in our client portal to say that we need to schedule this content ready to go out. We will then go ahead and schedule it on our platform of choice. And then we will mark it as done so the client confidently knows that their posts are all scheduled and ready to go out for the next month. So now it's time to think about the deliverables in your offer, paying close attention to when they happen and how they are actually delivered. Next up, we have P, pricing and terms. Decision 4 is all about deciding the terms that stop you leaking capacity, time, and energy. This includes pricing, payment rhythm, your cancellation policy, your required client inputs, what's included, what's not included, and your support boundaries. Let's say our starting retainer is $2,500 a month. We will bill our client every month as a subscription set up in their client portal. For our cancellation policy, they're going to pay for the month up front. We don't offer any refunds on that month, but they can pause or cancel anytime they wish. We will require them to share their brand guidelines and a tone of voice reference, access to their Instagram account and or their preferred scheduling tool. We need them to communicate their monthly priorities during our strategy session call, approve the content calendar within a set review window to make sure that we're scheduling consistently, and let us know of any key promotional dates, launches, or events that we need to be aware and plan for. That is our deliverables. For what's not included, we do not do any community management, story, video reels, or mid-month strategy shifts. Again, we want to be as clear as possible. Now, an additional note on support here, because support included is where retainers quietly double in size. We want to decide clearly up front where it happens, when you're available, how fast you respond, what counts as support, and what happens if the client asks for more. So here we can see our examples. We've got our support boundaries, our channel, our window, our response time, what the support includes and what it does not include. Now, I would typically add this information as a home tab within their client portal. That way it's easily accessible. You can also just discuss it during the sales process, or if you have a welcome pack, you could add it in there as well. The point is everyone is crystal clear and knows what's happening at all times. That predictability creates trust. And if you're wondering what happens if support requests exceed the scope, well, that can become a productized add-on, which brings us to extensions. Decision 5 is all about deciding on the add-ons that we want to make available so that every time a client asks, can we just change? Can we add this? Can you do this? We have a simple choice for them to make. Here you can ask, what are the little extras that clients ask for that sit outside the main offer? If it comes up often, you don't renegotiate it, you productize it. Make it an add-on. Fixed scope, fixed price, fixed terms. So coming back to our social media example, our add-ons might include Instagram story package or community management. Maybe we offer a monthly analytics report, or we decide to include priority support as an add-on. The great thing here is that you give your clients the flexibility. You don't have to emotionally negotiate about the pricing and the scope and figuring it all out. It's simple, it's clear, and it doesn't require any additional thought on your part. Now take a few moments and write down some of the common requests that you're asked for outside of your core offer. Those are going to become your first extensions. So let's recap what we've built so far. S. What changes for the client? C. What will they receive? O. How does it get delivered? P. What does it cost and what are the terms? And E. What happens when the client asks for more? That is your scope. That is your productized offer. Now we're not quite done yet. Delivery has to match that level of clarity. Otherwise, you're still going to be going back and forth through email. So we can think of step 1 as building your offer, and then step 2 is delivering your offer. Your clients need one space where they can easily access everything, see what's happening at any given point in time, and get support should they need it. This is where your tech stack either reinforces your boundaries or quietly dissolves them. You want to make it easy to find, easy to navigate, and structured so the work is always visible at a glance. Now that's the criteria, but there is no rule book in all of this. It's important to find the structure and the tools that work best for you. If you've been on this channel for a while, you'll know I'm a big fan of having a dedicated client portal. I personally use Assembly. I'm also an Assembly partner, and they are kind enough to sponsor today's video. Thank you, Assembly. So what I'm going to do now is show you exactly how I would set this up in Assembly. I will set up the retainer and the extensions as additional products. We will then build a store so clients can purchase directly, and then we'll create payment links so you can add this to your existing website. To begin, I'll come into my Assembly account and click on Billing in my sidebar. You'll see a number of tabs along the top. We're going to start by clicking on Services. Next, click Create Service. We'll start by adding our service name. We can then add a description. Here is a great place to add your transformational promise alongside everything included in your offer. We can then click to add an image and then scroll down to add your pricing information. And if you look on the right here, you have the option to choose one-time or recurring. I'll make sure I've got monthly selected in my billing period. Now all I have to do is hit create service in the top right hand corner, and that service has been added to my collection. Now in addition to that social media retainer, we have our add-ons. So I'm going to go ahead and add those as well, following the exact same process. So you can see here, I have now set up my Instagram stories package, my community management package, and my priority support package. Now when a client wants more, I don't need to stop to send them a custom quote mid-month. They can select their add-on and pay directly from their portal. Speaking of paying through their portal, the next step here is to set up our storefront. So to do that, we'll click on store again under billing. And here we can give our store a name, and then you can toggle off if you want to offer ongoing plans or just one-time purchases. So for us, we have a number of recurring offers. So I'm going to make sure that toggle is on, click in, and then I'm just going to select my retainer that I want to add. And you'll see here, in addition to the description, you now have this option to add features. And this is a great place to add your deliverables for your Productized service. You can then hit save and then add additional products as you wish. So let me go ahead and add my add-ons as well. Now for one-time purchases, I don't have any right now, so I could just turn this toggle off. But let's say you do have a one-time purchase. Again, you would just click in and select the item, and that would then display in your store as well. One-time purchases can be a really great way to turn a low-ticket offer into a high-paying client. Once you have done that, click into Manage Payment Preferences. Make sure you have a payout account attached. Select how you're going to receive the payment and decide who covers the processing fee. We can then click Save. And if you look on the right, you can see a preview of how your store is going to look. You can switch between desktop view and mobile view. And then when you're ready to publish your store, you can just click Publish in the top right-hand corner. And here you can decide how you want to display your storefront. So this toggle for portal means it will appear in the sidebar of your client portal. And then public website, if we turn both of these on now, gives you a URL link. So you can go ahead on your website and add it to your navigation. Now, existing leads and clients in your portal have a way to purchase additional services and add-ons, and then anyone viewing your website can view all of your offers, choose what they want to sign up for, pay, and then they will be added directly into their own custom client portal. Now, let's say that you've got your website all designed a specific way and you want the flexibility to build out your own sales pages. In that case, rather than linking to the storefront, you can use payment links. We can create payment links again from our billing section in our sidebar. Click create a payment link, choose the product that you want to add a payment link to, and then just hit create in the top right hand corner. You can copy a link to this and you can drop this in anywhere. So here is an example of a really simple sales page, and you'll notice that I have a few different buy now buttons. When someone clicks on it, they'll be taken directly to a checkout page. And if they are not already an existing client with us, they make their payment and they'll be onboarded into their client portal automatically. And that's just one example. You could also send it via email or maybe through LinkedIn or perhaps through Instagram DMs. You've got different front doors, but it's the same portal experience on the other side. This is how you make productizing your service simple and sellable. What's great about using Assembly as your delivery tool is it really supports you throughout the entire client lifecycle. It makes productizing your services simpler because all of the functionality is built in there for you. If you want to check it out for yourself, I'll include all the links in the description. There is a 14-day free trial, which is a perfect amount of time to get it all set up and test it to make sure it is the right fit for you. And when you're ready to sign up for a plan, you can use Chloë at checkout to access $100 off of your purchase. As you can see, productizing isn't about doing less for clients. It's about doing less of the invisible work that drains you and more of the work that actually matters. All you need is a service idea, and then you can use the scope methodology to walk you through the rest. And if you have worked through your scope while watching this video, I would I'd love to hear from you. Drop your transformational promise in the comments below. And if you're still figuring it out, that's okay. Maybe you can drop your service and we'll work through it together. I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world.